please talk to God now and ask him what the cure to this addiction is. It's a deadly disease. Like, I got my life back together and it shattered my dreams, so I sewed it back together and it tattered my seams. I talked to all my fake ass friends. I'm under the L with some fake ass men. It doesn't matter, it seems. Got some real ones, but it's quite the twist, because one point in my life I wanted to slice my wrist, but at the same time thought I deserved a picket fence house, wife, and kids. I don't even understand why my fucking life exists. I was illiterate, so how could I even write this shit? My name, my pops is gonna hate me for this one, but I'll give you all the whole government. Sean Patrick Christopher Riley. Sean Riley. Everybody calls me Riley out here though. Age, I just turned 33.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
When was your birthday?
July 26th.
What did you do for your birthday?
I shot dope.
Okay, you're being honest.
Yeah. This first birthday I've had out of prison in a long time, and rehab. Ever, actually, since I was 14. It's the first one I've had out of treatment, prison, or yeah.
Okay, and where are you from originally?
Philadelphia, all over Philadelphia area. Mainly like the Northeast.
Okay, let's talk about your childhood. What was it like?
Childhood was actually pretty good, for the most part. I was born July 26th. You know what I mean? I'm the oldest of three, but I'm the youngest of like I don't know how many cousins I have, and they all lived within like, you know, within reach of each other. So like we were like a clan of blue-eyed bandits who would just run around and just cause trouble. But I was the youngest cousin besides my little brother and sister that was like old enough to hang with the older cousins. So like I don't know. I mean, I don't resent them in any ways, but I was definitely like a punching bag for them. And I was too young and like too insecure to realize that they loved me, and that they weren't gonna let nothing like happen to me. Sorry if I just hit the mic, but yeah, they weren't gonna let nothing happen to me. I didn't see that. I just seen them like being mean, whatever. So that pushed me away from my family pretty young, and I was out here.
In Kensington?
I remember 13. Yeah, I remember walking around this park, graffitiing. You know what I mean? Hanging out with my friends. Just my pop's chasing me down. He was a postal worker, so like he'd find anybody. And then he started. He's in the military after that. So now he tracks Al Qaeda. You know what I mean? So I had a father that if he wanted to find you, he's finding you. And I remember he came up. I was staying off of Lippincott at one of my friends' houses. I ran away from him. I remember them. I remember the dudes on the block saying, like, dude, you gotta get this kid out of here. His father's causing a scene. Favorite childhood memories? You know what? I remember just like a point in time where everything was like an adventure. You know what I mean? Like life was gonna produce something crazy cool one way or another. You know what I mean? I had like a real fire lit under me. I'd say from like 12 to 14. When it came to anything sports related or talents, any type of talents that were like, and it's weird too, all the talents that were key for me to do good meant the team will do good or can do good. You know, for baseball I was a pitcher. For soccer I was a goalie, which I hated, but like, and you know what I mean, if you can't get a goal you can't beat us. And then I didn't really play football or basketball but sports started taking off even more for me when it came to like rollerblading. I was sponsored for rollerblading. Me and my cousins would run around town and make our own videos, and that I think was when I introduced to drugs, which is running around doing that. And snowboarding. Weirdly enough, I got introduced to snowboarding from my Uncle John. Rest in peace, he just passed away.
Okay. How far do you go in school?
I made it to, I don't even know what grade I was in. I was 14, and I told you about it earlier. I got shot. This was my best friends. My family didn't know what to do. Yeah, my pops didn't know what to do. The guys that did it to me, they were adults by law, I guess. And I was a juvenile, but somehow I got sentenced to the second largest timing for stolen merchandise and possession of a weapon. I think they had dropped that, but I got sent to North Carolina. And for most of my juvenile life, from 14 on, I was in juvie. How it happened, it doesn't really matter. But I extended my stay another few terms, I guess, and I got lucky, man. I got placed in this program that it was a Christian Lighthouse Academies, I think, but it wasn't that when I got there. It was Harbor Oaks, and it was rough out there when I first got there. OSHA got called on it. It was going downhill pretty fast, and then out of nowhere it just turned around. The son of the owners came in and he took ownership and had us building these houses. The whole time we're there, we're snowboarding on weekends and working on the mountain if we're not doing PT. Because it was a military-esque boot camp. If we weren't doing PT or hiking the Appalachian or the Smoky Mountains, we were snowboarding or we were doing some sort of sports. And I actually got pretty good at snowboarding to the point where I got sponsored by the mountain that we lived on. Me and my buddy Hunter did. And, it was just, by the end of it, we moved into the houses we were building. I mean, I look back at it, I don't know if it is illegal or not, like child labor and all, but like we were just helping the adults, move lumber from one end to another. It was cool too how they did it. They cut the trees down and built the houses out of the trees that we had cut down off the side of the mountain. So, I mean, full circle from the beginning of the program to the end. It was an old hotel with the windows bolted shut, and, weekly just shakedowns to it being like a family. I remember the dean of the school, Vince, I'll never forget it, he cried the day me and Hunter left. And honestly, he was like a second dad. But it's crazy because I left there and I got high immediately on the flight. I remember that. So I remember getting home. Should have been like a good thing, like a good experience. My cousins were all there to see me, and I was just gone on my medication that I was prescribed. I didn't even make it back to Pennsylvania. And I just remember, like, I don't know, I think it was the first time I ever seen like my family have like a shameful look in their face. And like my cousins who all smoked weed and grew up out here, and they had their own little issues, like them being ashamed of me, like that was rough. But mine began I think with just insecurities. I think I started doing shit like drinking was one of them, just to be cool with my cousins, smoking cigarettes, weed. Most of them, besides the drinking, I really didn't like it off the rip. But the social aspect to it, like it didn't break down barriers at first, but the drinking did. And I remember that one because like I didn't like become like an alcoholic overnight, but like what I did do was I became obsessed with like the feeling of not worrying if everybody in the room liked me or not, and being able to be like what I thought was like myself, you know what I mean, and not being like, I don't know, socially just awkward, you know what I mean, and I think that's a big thing with addiction too. I mean, mine started pretty young too. I was, I think, 11 when I smoked my first cigarette and drank my first beer. Not like drank it to get drunk, but like just drank it with my dad. And then I think about 12, I smoked weed for my first time. And by 13, it's crazy. By 13, I had done coke. And all my friends were older, you know what I mean? So like, and they had older sisters and brothers, and you know, whether it was this neighborhood or Somerton or Germantown or even Jenkintown, I lived all over the place. Lansdale, Percy, New Cumberland, anywhere I went. I seemed to find those groups of people, fit in pretty quickly, you know what I mean? But my addiction just, it's a big facade for me. I think, like, and that's like the hardest part of it, is like realizing like you really do like you do grieve over it, you do protect it. You know what I mean? I used to sit there and be like, bro, I don't protect like getting high. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds stupid and it sounds dumb, and if you're doing it, you're stupid or you're dumb. But in all reality, like if something was gonna get in the way of me using, I'm going through it. You know what I mean? I'm getting around it. I'm gonna figure a way to eliminate that issue. You know what I mean? So that's me protecting my addiction. You know what I mean? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If something was going to affect me not being able to use again, period, like I would be afraid, and I'd not know what to do. And you know, I feel like that's probably the same thing. It is the same thing I go through when a friend dies. You know what I mean? So I grieved it. You know what I mean? So it's a huge part of my life. But I also believe that if somebody else, if any other person, like a normal person, found out like what that key unlocked, and like how it could separate you from you know, real or actual life, like the way it affects you and the things you go through, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know if like I've just had a lot of things happen to me, but like I needed something. And yeah, drugs weren't the best option, but they worked 365 days a week, you know what I mean, or a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Every time you pick up a drug, if it is a drug, and it's the drug you're looking for, it's going to do what you're asking it to do. And, you know, that's more reliable than a lot of other things in my life. And, you know, I just couldn't deal with things. Coping with shit that, and especially like, not abandonment, it is abandonment, but like just like saying goodbye to people. You know what I mean? I moved a lot, and, you know what I mean? I get attached to people not pretty quickly, but like pretty deeply, you know what I mean? And I've had a lot of situations where I've lost those people. The person that shot me when I was younger was my best friend. The kid that I would have called if somebody was hurting me, I'd call him. You know, so I didn't know what to do with myself. And then my cousins, you know what I mean? They turned their backs on me. I thought they didn't, but like they're going on their own life, and I felt like that was an abandonment thing, so I thought that was a loss. You know, ex-fiance or my daughter's mother, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Like I was tired of saying goodbye to people. My best friends killing themselves. You know what I mean? I've had a few of them. I have 4 tattoos on me right now from friends that have killed themselves. And all of them guys were the guys that would, like, if they saw me upset, they'd probably be the first one to try and put a smile on my face.
What all have you lost due to your addiction?
What all have I lost? So that's a tricky question for me, because if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I've lost a lot. I've lost friends because of addiction. I've lost like this this facade of what, like, life is great. But I don't know if that's lost or not, you know what I mean? Because I think life can be great again. But the whole, like, looking at the world and, like, just being Joe as shit about it, and realizing and thinking, like, you know, there's nothing wrong that goes on in this world. You know what I mean? I think addiction stripped that ability to, like, hide from that away. But the biggest thing I think, like, it really did take from me was it took my ability to grow, like, as a man, I guess, to grow up in a lot of ways, because I avoided a lot of, like, the emotional issues that, like, I would go through, and, like, if I couldn't deal with them, like, I'd blow up, I'd disappear, or I'd get high, which is a way of disappearing, I guess. And you know, I've lost some relationships that were, like, they were good relationships, whether they were with a woman or friends, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not always just me, you know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of friends that are in addiction, I have family members that are in addiction, but a big thing is, like, people don't know about it, and that's a big drawback for me, is, like, I started learning about it a lot, and I love the saying, I forgot who said it, but, like, they said, listen, like, addiction is a disease, because a disease is something that's like, it's progressive, fatal, and incurable unless arrested at some point. So if that's the case, that's what a disease is, then addiction is a disease. But that's not an excuse for, like, some of the actions and the things that I've done. And I don't need it to be an excuse, you know what I mean? Because I think, like, if I get to a point where I can accept, like, things I've done, like, that's what's changed me a lot recently. Is, like, I feel like the outside fits a lot better with the inside. I think that's the biggest problem I had, and probably the big reason why I had addiction problems to begin with is, like, because I didn't feel like I fit in my own skin, or I didn't fit in my own life. It just didn't fit. Now, like, who I am is, like, who you see most of the time. And when I get high, like really, that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? That's where my head's at. Like, I don't want to be around. You know what I mean? And then it doesn't become that anymore. It's not my escape. It's my body's addicted to it. You know what I mean? Like, it's no longer a mental or a decision that I'm making to get away from certain events. It's something I'm doing because if I don't do it, then said events will happen way more fast, way more rapidly, and, you know, it just builds on itself. I think addiction just, like I was talking to you about before this, I'm probably going to go into the hospital tonight, and I'm definitely going to ask you after this to call my homegirl. She's the director of nursing at one of the facilities out here. She's a real good woman. She normally gets me placed pretty quickly. And have I ever looked at going to treatment? Yeah. I'm not going to put the number out there, because, you know, people think, like, he's saying that to sound cool. Nah. Treatment became it was just another institution for me, but it was an institution that, like, I fit in. I could get healthy, you know what I mean? And I could have a routine, and honestly, I excelled in them. You know what I mean? So like, why not? Why not be in them more often than not? It's either that. In my life, I've shown a lot. It's one of three things. Like, Sean's either doing fucking horribly. Like right now, I'm homeless in Kensington. You know, I'm staying under the L. Just not. I'm not being who I can be. Or I am an unhappy, you know, sober or not fully sober, but I'm battling with myself because like I can't figure out where I'm supposed to be in life. You know what I mean? And that's like a scarier place for me sometimes. I think that's why this gets so comfortable, because when I'm in that place, like, I'm truly ashamed of who I am, and I don't have the excuse of like, well, I'm doing drugs and that's why people don't want to be around me. Like now it's like, it's really me. You know what I mean? So I got to look at what I'm doing, and I think that's why like addictions is an easy thing to fall back on. But or there's the last one, and I've done this a few times. I've had clean time. And you know, I built my life into some things that like I was actually starting to become proud of who I was. People really trusted me. You know, I could spend time with my daughter. You know, if you wanted to chop me down, you'd really have to try, because I wasn't giving you a bunch of ammunition. But yeah, that was something that I had for a while. And treatment programs, you know, all those things played a key part. Like, it helped, but the biggest thing that like I was lacking was the ambition, I think, like, to do it, and the actual like the belief that I could, I guess. It's really taken a toll on my relationship with my family. Especially like my immediate family.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, like I'm trying to go into treatment. My girl, or I don't know what she is right now, but my ex, like she's a beautiful person. She's been clean for a while, and she seems to be in my corner, but my thing is, I need some like people in my corner, despite what's going on with me and her. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like, I guess that would be my biggest thing. Is like, I need a support group that's not per se like it's not NA or AA or whatnot, but like it's not. I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? As long as it's like good people for me, and it's like I don't know, like people that are looking out for the greater good of. You know, if they're staying clean or staying happy and healthy, it relies on, you know, their community or group of people staying happy and healthy and clean. And you know, I need parts in it.
Yeah, they're definitely out there, brother. And I have your Facebook. I would definitely share some resources with you, okay?
Yeah.
Have you thought about the long-term consequences of drug use?
Yeah, so you can't not think of it out here, I think. You know, you come around this neighborhood and you see good people missing limbs. Good people that need their limbs taken off, and they're still pushing drugs in them. You know, but then you get faced, like, I can't speak for everybody else, but like, you get faced with scenarios and situations where you realize, like, oh shit, this might be happening to me. You know what I mean? I've quite a few friends that have AIDS. You know what I mean? And I have quite a few friends that have died. I've had quite a few friends that have killed themselves. I have some friends that I'm pretty worried they're probably gonna kill themselves. You know what I mean? And like they don't deserve like the pain they're going through. But at the same time, like they would get mad at me for doing the same thing they're doing, just like I'd get mad at them for doing the same thing I'm doing. And I think that's a real hard thing to do in life, period, for me, is like looking at myself in the mirror and treating myself like a friend. But yeah.
What are your goals and aspiration in life?
I really want to start something up. And I'd like it for my dad to play a part in it, just because he's been like an amazing resource, but also like such a pain in the ass, because like I haven't been doing good. But like I wanna do something like when I do get clean, because like I've had a lot of people tell me like if I were to put the drugs down and just put a little bit of effort into myself and like into like some sort of a recovery, I don't know how to put it, except for like I want to build something that's gonna help other people. You know what I mean? And that's always been something that like I really wanted to be a part of, and like it don't have to be mine. You know what I mean? That I built. Like it's just something that like I don't know. A big thing for me is like music and art. You know what I mean? For me, like being able to like get in that spot, that zone, where you just like you got just the embodiment of like who I am and what I'm feeling right here, right now, and like the ability to pass that to another person without saying a single word. You know what I mean? And to have other people have their own experiences with that. You know what I mean? Like I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think it's something that like if you look on the Ave at any time, you see suffering, you see pain, you see people hating each other, you see people wanting to die, wanting to kill, and then all of a sudden like you'll hear some music come on and you'll watch everybody start bopping and like just kind of blending. And like if it can do that for a split second in Kensington, you know what I mean? Like do a lot of other things.
That's awesome to hear what you just said. So you think those things will help you, you know, deal with your stress?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask anybody about me, it's Riley. Oh, the kid that raps. Oh, the kid that draws. You know what I mean? But like every time like somebody comes up to me like and you know, like this is my little spot, you know what I mean? Like, and it sucks that it's so ran down and crazy out here, but like the feeling like I get when people come up to me and like they're like, bro, you might not remember me, but you know, that one song you did, you know what I mean, that one night, or yeah, we have groups of guys out here, we cypher, and like we'll have like these little jam sessions, and like, you know, for a second, like we can take ourselves out of Kensington, you know what I mean? And that's something that's always been a part of me, I think, and like, and it's not something I used to always not want to rap or make music or do any of that stuff, and I was super insecure about it, so I just didn't do it. But I had other outlets, you know what I mean, drawing and other stuff like that, and I think everybody's got their own niche, you know what I mean? Like, I see people doing electronics, and like, it's like, I'm mind-boggled with what's going on, you know what I mean?
Talent, it's a lot of talent out here, right?
Raw talent.
All right, brother, so we about to, you know, shut down, but I truly appreciate you sharing your story with us. And you know, the AML family is here to support you on your journey to recovery, brother. We believe in you. You seem like a person that has a good head on their shoulder, but just making some bad choices. But you're human. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you hear the word art, what does that mean to you?
Art. Honestly, art to me is love in a way, you know what I mean? Because like, I don't think you teach people things or make people experience things. Like even like the sad songs, you know what I mean? Or like the ones that like grip you, you know what I mean? Like there's some sort of a passion to it, you know what I mean? So I think like art's just expression of like love and passion, I think.
That's beautiful to hear. What do you want the world to know about you?
What I want them to know about me? I don't know, that I'm a good person. And you know, just like the things I've done don't define who I am. I think the things that I have done, like that I've done towards the good, I guess, like those things still do count too, you know what I mean? My dad always says this, like, you know, you can build a bridge and it takes 1 second to burn it down. And like, I always was just an asshole about things like that, you know what I mean? Because I was like, yeah, but those pylons and them legs are still in the creek or whatever it is that you're going across. Them legs are still there. You know what I mean? Like, so like, you can't just erase all the good things you've done. You know what I mean? And I think like that's something that like I try to do with myself. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to pour like a bunch of love into some woman, and I don't know if you're ever gonna see this, but Jamie, like I would try and pour all this love into one woman, and like let that define who I am, and I have this girl right now that she's pretty good at just letting me be me, but also she's really good at reminding me that like a relationship's being with somebody and wanting them to do better, but also like being there to support somebody, but also being there for yourself. You know what I mean? Like that shit is hard for me to say no. You know what I mean? Or to end any type of relationship because it's not helping me or it's not healthy for me. That shit's hard for me, and I think I've held on to a lot of toxic things and people and places because of that, because of a false sense of loyalty. But if it's not true to me, you know what I mean? Like, if it's not something I believe in and I stand for, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong because this is my life, you know what I mean? Like, if it's not okay for me and it's not okay with me, then like I need to stay true to that, you know what I mean? And I need to find out why. You know, and you know, if it's not something that's like racist or biased or some sort of ism, you know what I mean, then like I have a right to feel the way I feel, and I need to be true to myself.
If your friends or your family see this video, what message would you like to send to them?
If my friends or my family, I don't know, hopefully like y'all get to see that at some point when I'm doing better.
That's
yeah.
it.
that's it. Because
Okay, I hear you.
if I'm not doing better, I'm dead. So I don't want to do that to.
Got you. There are a lot of people in this world who judge people who struggle with drug addiction. What's your message for the world?
What's my message for the world?
Somebody banging on something.
My message for the world, if it could be like something as simple as to put it together, like for it to be put into some sort of a picture for somebody to see. You know what I mean? It's the biggest problems that like the world faces, at least like epidemics and pandemics and shit like that. All of them are clouded and hurt more and more people the less knowledge we have about them. And that's truth knowledge, you know what I mean? Like real knowledge about what's happening, you know what I mean? Because both ways it's bad if there's false information. Like if I'm putting false information out there to protect my addiction or protect you know, the real dirty, grimy parts of what this disease does, you know what I mean, then that's a horrible thing, you know what I mean, because I'm perpetuating some pain. But the same pain is being perpetuated if people don't know that like this disease is not like it's not a thing that makes me, I'm not a bad person, you know what I mean, and I've done some bad things, but like in all reality, like I'm a good, caring person, and like the things that I've done, you know, I honestly don't think I would have gotten to this point if I would have had the knowledge that I have now. You know what I mean? If there's one thing that you can do for the next generation, it would be to tell them the truth. You know what I mean? And like truth is a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, because you know, like a porcupine throws its quills, might keep a kid safe from a porcupine, I guess, and that's what we want to talk about. But in real life, you lie to your kid about something, because don't throw its quills. You know, if that porcupine would have been the answer to the question that kid has, he avoids it all of his life because he has a false sense of what's going on. You know what I mean? Like that's the biggest thing for me. Right. It's like my daughter, if she's gonna know that Percocets is heroin in its own sense. You know what I mean? That, you know, I want her to come talk to me if she does drugs. Like, I don't want her to be ashamed of herself. I want her to tell me, because if she's out in fucking Kensington, you know, I at least want to know where she's at and like what's going on with her, you know, and that she can safely come talk to her father, you know what I mean? And I think that's something that like the fear, and I know like my parents had a lot of fear of like losing me. And like I remember my sister telling me one day, I woke up to her on FaceTime, I was on Allegheny platform to two paramedics holding my phone, and it was my daughter's birthday, and I just overdosed. And my sister said, we just had to have a fucking conversation about who's gonna tell your daughter that you died on her birthday. And you know, it's crazy, because if that would have happened, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying nobody else would tell her the truth about me, but nobody would be able to. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, there's too many things that I was ashamed of. There's too many things that my family's ashamed of about me. You know what I mean? And, like, in all reality, like, that stuff needs to go somewhere. If I'm gonna make it anywhere in life, you know what I mean? I need to get rid of the effect the stigma has on me, and the effect I let it have on my life. You know what I mean? And also, like, I need to become knowledgeable about the things that I don't know about. And a big thing, and I'll end with this, because I feel like I'm probably dragging on, is like, if you share something with somebody, think about the consequences it could have, because, or just share it as an opinion. You know what I mean? State something as an opinion if it's an opinion, because like, I think the one thing that hurts people in addiction just as bad as drugs do is opinions stated as facts. Like, it's true, and you know, it's, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but everybody's entitled to their path too. You know what I mean? And like, I just don't think it's right to stand in the way of that. You know what I mean? You know, because some of the best lessons and the hardest lessons I went through that had like the best answers to them or whatever were the ones that were the most embarrassing or the most painful at the time I was going through it. You know what I mean? But like now, like, it's something I know. You know what I mean? It's something that's part of me, and I don't think anything else could have taught me it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm still here.
Awesome. Okay, Raleigh, Raleigh, right? It's your name?
Yeah.
AML fam, I want to tell Raleigh, thank you so much for being courageous and helping share light on this epidemic. And his story is going to touch a lot of lives. And we pray that Raleigh can find the strength one day to break that chain that's wrapped around him. He could defeat those demons, because he's a good-looking guy with a lot of potential, and drugs take everything away from you when you got something special inside of you, and he definitely got something special. So he's very talented, and we're gonna hear from him. He's an artist and a battle rapper. You know how hard it is to battle rap. You gotta like make things up off the top. Some people write battle raps, but to each his own. But yeah, we're gonna, you know, showcase his talent to the world in hopes of giving Raleigh some motivation. So guys, we clocking out. Raleigh, is there anything you're in need of that we can help you with before we take off?
No, I mean, just some prayers, I guess.
Beautiful. I love when people say prayers. Some people don't believe in prayers. Raleigh do, I do. So prayers are miracles, and they do break curses and chains that's on people. So without further ado, Raleigh, you gonna give us a freestyle, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand up.
Okay, yeah, stand up. Let's get Raleigh on TikTok. Make him go viral so people can know what type of, we're more than just drugs, we're also talented people. So Raleigh, is on you whenever you're ready.
Alright. Now I'm gonna tell you a little story of mine. Starts popping pills, drinking 40s and lying. Ends with me in and out of jail, not supporting my child. Not knowing who I am, and I'm just forcing a smile. Cause my bad days, I'm used to them. Cause my sad days, I got used to them. Much good are getting shorter in time. Why? Because my mind became this prison I can torture and bind. My drugs are my release in less than fortunate times. But it's also what I do when I want to feel more than sublime. So the feds said, hell, put him in a cell. Fuck it, might as well. Why? Keep him clean for a portion of time. I looked the Attorney General right in her eyes. I laughed at her. She asked me, she said, why? I said, because I'm from Kensington and I was born to get high. And I'm from a neighborhood that was supported in crime. And I'm an Irish kid, so I think I was born to survive. I was like, but it's killing me softly. But I can't stay true to my kid representing and stay true to my crew, rev the engine. I had a crew and a lot of room. I stepped forward, test your mic to the hottest tune. Cause I can't go back to my old ways. I'm walking down the train tracks, looking down the same tracks. My uncle stuck a needle in his vein tracks back in the old days. In my pocket at 13, I was selling drugs, thought I was thugging and bugging. But it wasn't even in the discussion. The next thing I know, by 14, I had a pack of blunts, a syringe, and some gold haze. My mind became this prison. I can't go back to that cold place. Because in my mind, I had two types of visions. I can do like some friends did and make the right decisions, but it doesn't feel right. So I'm gonna live my life by the pipe and the spike I'm gripping. So if I go to jail, at least I'll be high when I go right to prison. And I know if I don't stop, I'll probably not be alive, yo. Or end up like Pop L, getting popped for 3 to 5, so. But I live like sober now, and it's better than being high, so. I'm waking up with my daughter and I don't think I need to die, you know? But I talked to my man Draper and I told him, I said, dog, you didn't need to die, so can you please talk to God now and ask him what the cure to this addiction is? It's a deadly disease. Like I got my life back together and it shattered my dreams, so I sewed it back together and it tattered my seams. I talked to all my fake ass friends. I'm under the L with some fake ass men, it doesn't matter it seems. Got some real ones, but it's quite the twist, cause one point in my life I wanted to slice my wrist, but at the same time thought I deserved a picket fence house, wife and kids. I don't even understand why my fucking life exists. I was illiterate, so how could I even write this shit? I can't. I don't know, maybe I'll end up with a knife real quick. Or if I stop and think about it, maybe I can fight this shit. But it's killing me softly. But I'm gonna stay true to my kid representing. I can't, because I'm true to my crew. Rev the engine. I have a crew in a lot of rooms. Step forward, test your mic to the hottest tune. So they dropped me off at the last stop. This dude Eddie Z said, stop playing with them guns, eh? He said, listen, your story's gonna end like your city does. Every street in a one way. He said, so maybe if you're lucky, you'll be talking to your cellie one day. Or you can stand up, man up, put your fucking hand up, saying your name is Sean, you're an addict of sorts. Your disease will tell you you're stupid and what you say doesn't matter, of course. And there's a million other things in my life, like my daughter and my soon-to-be wife, that I'd rather support than this devil-ran disease and this habit of more. My family's sick and tired. I'm on meth, I'm always fucking wired. I can't get mad at a corpse. My emotions leave me madder. I'm Alice in Wonderland, hatter of sorts. I'm selling little bags of death to my friends, saying their habits enforced. Saying fuck them, the judge and the jury, because I'm mad at the courts for doing what needed to be done with this junkie slash son slash savage of sorts. But I started sharing my story and the similarities became rapidly more. Because my name is Sean and I'm an addict, but the story's not mine, no, sadly it's yours. It's killing me softly.